I thought for this segment of your FYI Quadra Sprint edition for this month, I would show you how to service your brakes. Complete tune-up on your brake system. How to properly arch them to get rid of this and to get rid of that with just a little bit of time. So the first thing I'm going to need to do is I'm going to need to remove the basket. Get this out of the way so you have complete access to the back of the drums. In my case, I'm going to have to remove my front poles so I can move this forward, because I'm going to have to move this to here. And we'll get it all ready, get it up on matching jack stands on each side. The bike's got a set level when you do this process. And I guarantee you, you're going to be very pleased with your brakes. And this is a new little idea I have going for me that's working out real well, and I'll explain a little bit more about that when we go through the brake system. This down here so you can see. Okay, so once you get to this point, you want to take a marker, a Sharpie. If you're worried about it, you can clean it off with rubbing alcohol. You can clean it right off. And what you want to do, you know this is the top of the brake. What you're going to do is you're just going to write, this is the left, so I'm going to put LT for left. And over here, I'm going to put RT for right. It's important. Now we remove the brake straps. Sorry about that. But before we do that, might as well get the jack stands on this thing. Make sure that it's not any on the jack stand here. Okay, good. Nice pushing. No. Okay. Now I'm going to remove the brake strap. I'll explain this a little later, but I will want to point out something I did here. So I put one of those cup holders, so the weight of the water helps the lever stay, you know, in the off position. It's kind of cool. I'll explain why that's kind of important. But for now, we're going to take the brake strap off on both sides. They're marked, so we know which one's left, which one's right, and we know we marked the tops. The reason why we want to know which side is the top, because once you get these off, they look the same. And when you go to arch these, you have to arch them in opposite direction of travel. So otherwise, this drum is traveling forward in this direction. So when the brake comes down, it's actually forward, travels this way. So when we arch it, we're going to arch it the opposite direction. I'll show you how that's done. Same thing with the drum as well. Okay. Got a main nut on. I usually just put those right down on the ground there. And now take off the other part. Where's that nut? Unlock nuts. Put that back in here. Okay. Oh, there was some. There's the linkage, brake linkage, and even those. Okay, take the car key out. Now, if you look real close, you'll see that there's a little tiny cable tie right there. That's because this brake was loose as a goose in here, is shifting back and forth. And I thought about spreading these, but you don't want to do that because this pin's real tight. And if this thing's off alignment, you're going to have a hell of a time getting the pin in. So it's better to, I just used a little small panduit strap. And that took a lot of that rattling away. And I'm going to talk about that more. But that worked for me. You could probably get away with some really small washers, but when I was looking at it, it was a real pain. So now I got to see if this comes off. Put that on there. I'd have to cut it. It should, because I didn't get it that tight. Yeah, you can take some emery paper, and if you get burrs on these after a while, they might want to stick a little bit. So you can take a little emery paper to those too if you want. Okay, so we're gonna slide this brake strap off now. And if you start looking at it, you're gonna see these marks. These are glaze marks. See how they're glazed? What we're going to do is we're going to remove those glaze marks, but we're going to make sure that we arch this in the opposite direction of travel. Okay, so I got both the drums off now. I've been working on the left one. I know this is, oh, this is the left one, sorry. I know this is the top. I know that's the bottom. And we know we want to, this is, I think I got 60 grit here. No, this is 80 grit. 80 grit paper. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to go from the bottom. I'm going to slide this out right. I need a flat surface, not a carpet. And what I'm going to do is from the bottom to the top, one direction. Now if you find a real bad spot in your brake shoe, like see it's kind of still a little bit of shininess right there where it's glazed a little bit, I'll go back and forth like this, but when I finish, I always finish towards the top, from the bottom to the top, from the bottom to the top. You just keep working this until you get all that glazing out. Let's see here. Got a little bit left right in there, and quite a bit right in there. So, let's see, from the bottom to the top. Okay, so this should work. And then just go ahead and work it all the way around, bottom to the top. And just keep working that brake strap till we see all the glazes, all the glazing's gone. Just a teeny bit right in there, but it's not that bad. Just work a little teeny bit right in here. Going from the top to the bottom. Bottom to the top. That looks real good. Just this end here, it looks like it needs to be. Okay, top. So, bottom to the top. Okay, that looks real good. That one's done now. Reshape your brake to add more spring to it. You're just gonna tuck that side into that side and that side into that side, and that should about do it. Okay, that's ready. Now we're going to, I got some, I want some 80, that was 60. Here's some 80. Get me a good block sander. And now what we want to do over here, let's see if I can move this light so we can see. Down here. Maybe I can put the light right there. There we go. Okay. What we want to do is we want to go downward and cross mode like that. Just keep turning it. Got to stay flat and precise. You see, I've been working on this drum a little bit before. This takes patience. Okay, now I'll just go around it like that. Oh, lost my light. They're short. Now this is what's important, because this will determine, because the brake shoe's going backwards. You always go opposite direction on your drum, opposite direction of travel. And then when you do your strap, you're gonna arch that opposite direction of this. So okay, that should about do it. It's got a trial hit and miss with this thing. As far as okay, left, yep. Okay, that's okay. You know, this is our top. Now I'm gonna set the pin first in the back. There we go. Turn so that I get the car key in. Good. Temporarily just sits there. Now we're ready for the arm. This is the idea I have, which I'm going to add in to this video at this point. Okay, so I have my my linkage rod here. I hope this camera is pointing in the right direction, or if I'm holding this right. Let me see here. Too low, I don't know. But this is my linkage lever rod. What you're going to do is you're going to take what I did. I took some of these washers. I believe these were, the washer size is pretty important, I found out. These are like 1 inch with a 3/8 hole in the center. And what I did is I took one, and I took a little vise, and what I did is I just clamped that in the vise like so. And this is the important part, because if you don't do this step, what's going to happen, it's going to cock and it's not going to work right. So you can use rectangular file, rat tail file, whatever. And what you're going to do is you're going to go in there and you're going to file these slots big enough to accommodate this. What's it going to help do is going to help the washer from not cocking and causing any problems. Okay, this one happens to be done, so we'll go ahead and remove this. Okay, we're going to go ahead and slide that on. You can see that sets pretty level. Now, what I got here, this is a heater hose, and I believe it's 1/2 inch. Yeah, 1/2 inch heater hose with a 3/8 inch diameter hole. And what's important is you need to cut this exactly 5 1/2, I believe it was. No, 5 3/4 of an inch. Both of them need to be at the same length, 5 3/4. Now, the reason being is you don't want it too long. Now you can see this side's kind of cocked, so I want that towards the top. You want this flat down towards the bottom. When you cut this, you can cut this a little bit into a slant, because the way it fits onto the, against the lever bar, it's a little bit slanted, so you want that little bit of slant in there. Let me slide a washer over that to give it equal compression. Because what we're looking for here is we're using this as a bushing for compression, to keep, yet be able to still make the adjustment, but yet keep this from rattling around. I'll show you how it works. I put it on my bike, I used it, I like it, it works great. So we're going to put this on next. I got to move the camera and light and all that stuff, so we're going to do that next. Okay, now I got the my bushing is all put together. It's going to act as kind of like a spring, so to speak. I thought of a spring, but I thought, you know, a spring is too, they're not predictable. So what might work on this side might not work on that side. Well, this is very predictable. Has good memory to it. I don't have any problems. So what you want to do is just get that on finger tight. You don't need to get that real tight. I'm going to go ahead now and put the main bolt back on. So now you saw how loose it was and how much travel it had from side to side, and you can see where it's hitting a few times, but it's, you know, sometimes it can, like I say, you hit a bump. It's rare, but it has happened to me where I hit a bump just right and the brake starts chattering because it's so loose. Now, so if you're having brake hum, brake chatter, or arm linkage noise that it's annoying to you, this is the way to fix it. Okay, now we're ready to put our compression. I'm going to call this a compression brake linkage. Yeah, that's basically what it is. Notice how that just slid right into place. This really helps a lot. I'm going to show you what I mean by that. Okay. Now, I took off this brake shoe without taking off the linkage. Here's the linkage right here. You can see how that is much more sturdier than if this was not on there. This would be laying down onto almost down on the drum. So you could probably take it off and just leave it on like that to do your arching and stuff. You don't really need to take that off. I only took this off so you can show you. It acts as a compression spring to keep these arms stable, because of that they shake, you know, going down the highway, and it sounds like loose spokes. So anyway, now we're moving on to adjusting the brake. See what we get. You may have to re-arch these a few times to get it where it's perfect. Now what I usually do is I'll put the, I don't know about you, but I have an emergency brake with a bungee cord. Now, let's move this light to start with. That could be part of the problem. All right. Let's tighten this up. See what we got. That's good. Okay. Now what I like to do is I like to set the brake to the on position, lock it with the bungee cord, and we'll tighten this part. Now this has to be able to pivot in here a little bit, so you don't want to get it too tight. Usually what I do is I get it, that's pretty good right there. And this is turning just a little bit. Means that the brake could be set just a little tighter. So I'm going to run that brake in just a little bit tighter. Let's move the brake, see what we got for free one. Tighten that up a little bit more. A little bit too loose. Good. Okay. There is a little situation here. Let's see if I can. The strap has a lot of movement in here, right in this area here. Now I thought of spreading these out, but that's not a good idea because that'll throw this alignment off on the pin, and then you have big problems trying to get that pin in and out. So what I did, I just used a little cable tie to kind of, now you could probably use some washers, but it's really hard to get washers to fit because this flat edge right here where it goes up against, it's real hard. This works pretty good. See, that's pretty much done. And just got to cut that off. But that's how I do it. So the left one's done now. I just need to do the right one, and I'll be doing that one. And when I get that all done, then we'll get it all adjusted in, and we'll take it for a spin and see how it works. Okay, well, brake straps are all back on. Everything's been arched. Everything's adjusted. Free spin's good. Generally, especially on the left side, what I do is, because I got these battery packs on here. Let me slow the tire down. What I watch for, it should come up, and when it gets to a point, it should swing back down where the batteries go down to the bottom. That tells me it's free spinning really well. Here it goes. And goes back down like that. So that tells me it's free spinning real well. You can't really do it on the right side because of the chain setup. Because when it wants to roll back, it wants to pull on the chain. But this is free spinning pretty good. I'm very happy with it, very pleased. And you can see I put my little straps in here to keep this from jiggling back and forth. Same thing here. So everything's good and tight. With these on, that keeps this from, when you hit bumps from side to side, it keeps this from, before without this would actually shift way over here. I can hardly go that far now. So it keeps this thing sturdy so it doesn't rattle around and make a bunch of noise and stuff, so it works out real well. All that's left now is put on the basket, reset the seat, reset the canopy, and we're ready to take it for a test ride. The skid mark test and see how quiet it is. Now this may have a little bit less braking power going backwards than forwards because the way we arch the brakes. So keep that in mind. So when you get out of your bike, you want to tend to roll backwards a little bit. Still need a garage door. Just take this thing for a test ride, see what we got. Alright. Just wheeling backwards real well. That's good. Just mirrors here. Okay, check the skid marks. Yep, that meets California law. Laid down rubber. So, brakes work real good. Now let's see how quiet they are as soon as this stupid jet goes out of the way. I swear we're right over the their flight pattern. Okay. It's quiet. It's good. Putting on the brakes. See how we hearing that squeaking? No squeaking. So that's how you fix your brakes. Now, when you go over bumps, I'm going to go up this down the sidewalk because it's a little bumpy. So you're going to hear some rattling back in there from your brakes. That's normal because they, they jiggle a little bit, but it's a lot quieter with those rubber bushings on it. Just doesn't keep those things from jiggling around. You can hear it just a little bit, but not much. There's a good bump. Slow down a little bit from that. I mean, for the most part, I hardly ever use my brakes. I mean, I do, but I know I'm going to be coming up to a stop sign or a stoplight. I slow down, until kind of like that. I mean, I don't abuse the brakes, I guess is what I'm saying. So you can hear some noise, but it's not anywhere near as bad as it was. This thing's a Cadillac compared to what it was before. This thing is perfectly quiet, and it's free rolling really well. Let's see. Go up this. I'm up to 14th gear going uphill. And if it doesn't free roll well, I couldn't do this. I can tell you that right now. So it's free rolling really well, nice and quiet. You can still hear those a little bit. It almost sounds like loose spokes, but it's not anywhere as loud as it was. I'm very pleased, indeed. That was a lot of water. Turn cloud. Yeah, much better. How much quieter it is going up the bumps and stuff. Much quieter. much quieter, come to a stop. So that's how you adjust your brakes. That's how you basically what we call tuning your brakes. When you take your bike in for, like, when they say tune-ups, tune-ups are like cable adjustments and also brake adjustments. When they make the brake adjustments, if they can't get the brakes to stop squeaking, they'll take the brake pads out and they'll sand them a little bit or replace them. And but that's the way to do it. And this is the water bottle I was talking about. I want to put another one on the other side. I like it here because it keeps it out of the sun. Because up here it would get real hot. When it's down here, it doesn't get as hot. Plus, it acts as a counterbalance to the brake. So when the brake goes off, it helps keep the brake, counteract the springing, to keep the brake in the full open position. So that was pretty clever, actually. So I want to get another one and put one on the other side too. So I have two of them. I have two waters. And basically how that works, you just reach up underneath there and pull out the water. So that's a good idea, actually. That improved my brakes 100% there too, by just doing little things like that. And we're done.